everybody. This is Chris McCabe of e-commerce. Chris, recording another episode of Ask an Amazon Agency. I'm with a digital marketer, Savannah of Digital Creative Solutions this time. How are you doing, Savannah?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here.
Of course, you're way over in Thailand.
Yes.
The owl above my head, I got in Thailand. So that's why I thought I'd bring that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a wooden carving from near Chiang Mai. But yeah, so I mean, you work with a lot of Korean brands. You're Korean, mostly skincare brands or all skincare brands at this point?
Mostly skincare brands because they have very small to medium to big sized companies. We still have new companies, new brands coming out in this industry, beauty industry. So there are a lot of opportunities and they're looking for some solutions to target the US market.
And I should say that we originally met at the Seller Kingdom Conference last September 2024, where I met lots of health and beauty brands, had some good conversations over a couple of days in Seoul, South Korea. But yeah, primarily skincare brands. And that's what got me thinking and wondering what they're doing. I mean, the US market, especially with Amazon, the US market's extremely competitive, but Korean brands have a little bit of an edge they can bring to skincare and health and beauty. So I'm just curious what your approach is in a world where selling on Amazon is getting more expensive. People have to spend more in ads, more in A+ content, kind of more in everything. So how do you integrate the practical side into your strategy to help them market themselves?
That's a great question. So for Korean brands, they first need to understand the US market and cultural differences between the US and Korean culture. So we help them to build their brand identity and their brand personality and the target industry, which is skincare and beauty, because sometimes they are targeting very specific people, vegan
Mm-hmm.
and different skin colors or something like that, or they're using very specific or unique ingredients or
Right.
they can only find like Korea or something. So
Right.
they want to highlight those unique selling propositions, but they don't know how. They don't know how to highlight them. So we help them build their great positioning point in the market. So to do that, we do press release and some keywords research, but also a lot more tactics out there we utilize. But our ultimate goal is for them to understand better the US market. We're starting from
Right. For the ones that you work with that sell on Amazon, have there been fundamental misunderstandings about how Amazon works in relation to relationships with brands and how Amazon US specifically, I assume, is the right marketplace? It's the best marketplace for Korean brands that I'm aware of is Amazon US. So have you had to spend a lot of time explaining that dealing with Amazon isn't like dealing with other parties?
Yeah. So I think we do also have neighbor store or something like that. A lot of different e-commerce stores or platforms in Korea. But Amazon is, first of all, is US Amazon, right? So people leave the reviews pretty much like very straightforward. It's different with Korean reviews. So in Korea, you can actually offer like free products or something and
Right.
then ask them to have a like leave the perfect review, or
Mm-hmm.
even like they want to give the customer like a very like just template, and then can you just put that like the product name and then just like post it as a review? But it's not gonna work like that in the US. No. If you, it's very suspicious. Like people are maybe it's the very opposite strategy to it's gonna decrease the trust and it's not gonna
Yeah.
help build a
Yeah.
relationship with the customer. So we help them. We help them understand these kind of differences, cultural nuance, and everything. And plus, we the A+ content is very important on US, and branding is very important as well. However, people think that, oh, we can just put the images and great products and picture like images, and we want to focus more on that, quality of the images or graphics, something like that. but you need to really build the brand. You have to evoke the emotions from the customers, right? Why do I have to choose your brand? What do you have for me in your brand? So we really focus on that so that they can have better copies, more straightforward ad copies, because in Korean culture, it might not be the best strategy to be too straightforward.
So,
That's part
you
of
know,
like cross-cultural marketing strategies.
all things, K-pop and Korean culture are kind of popular right now. I'm wondering if you're using that added advantage to help I mean, I'm sure you are, but maybe how are you using that? Because that's trendy right now. There was a
Yeah.
K-pop singer who was at the Academy Awards, the Oscars the other night, right?
Mm.
Which
Yeah.
is a huge global platform
Right.
for pop culture, but also you would probably, partner with people who are going to resonate across cultures and
Right.
emphasize a Korean brand that way, correct?
That's good point. But you also want to be careful about when utilizing those kind of trendy topics
Mm.
because it changes and it can be too trendy. So for Amazon, for the headlines or like other copies and even like ad copies, you want to be more solid, bold, I would say, instead of using too many long tail keywords
Mhm.
specifically about like one event or something. So but K-pop, K-beauty is a thing still. So a lot of people are looking for K-beauty, the secret of the
Mhm.
K-beauty, and what's the solutions? Like, what are they using actually? What are those specific celebrities using for their skincare routine? So that would be the solutions or strategies for our SEO or blog articles further apart from the Amazon. That's where we can get the traffic to Amazon eventually outside the platform.
And in terms of, you mentioned A plus content. So in terms of like video, do you have to come up with new video strategies that are different from what they're already using to go with what works best for A plus content? Do you spend a lot of time studying that, or are most of your clients kind of already aware that Amazon's going to be different and that video won't be the same as they have on other platforms?
So, as I said earlier, the content should be focused more on the benefits that the customer actually can get instead of the products itself. But I think most of the videos that I receive as a draft are more focused on the product itself. So try to show like a specific part of the products and things like that. Because I think as a Korean, I want to know little detail, every detail of the product first before buying it. And I think that's like our curiosity. Like we want to know because we're very used to have Korean products like in Korea. So I want to know more about like its function, its features. But in the video, you can show more about your lifestyle rather
Mhm.
than just the products. I think that makes A plus content even better. I mean, their content is already so good, but it
Right.
can be improved by showing the lifestyle because in the US, lifestyle is very important. They think about like, also, okay, skincare is good, but it's not only about the skincare. So skincare is gonna change your life or change your like a day. Go too extreme, but it's gonna change your day. It's gonna change your appearance. It's gonna bring some difference, very positive difference. But how? So
Right.
customer want to see it through the video. So we want to show them through video, if that makes
Right.
sense.
You can't just have somebody like a voiceover of all the wonderful ingredients.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
Exactly. Yes.
It's tough because you want to emphasize the ingredients, which are key to appreciating the benefit of skincare products that are coming out of Korea. But at the same time, how do you demonstrate that visually?
Right. And plus, I realized that it is very important to involve all different, like, colored skin, if that makes sense,
Mm.
because they tend to have just only one or two limited. So I would say adds some more variety in the video. Because in Korea, like it's so easy to just have the video with just Korean or Asian focused, but it can be like real different. Like really depends on the brand though and the target
Right.
audience for sure.
Do you work with any brands that are kind of afraid of Amazon, just either the competition or afraid of crazy things happening that Amazon does to their account, things like that, and so they stay away from it until they can't afford to stay away from it? Do you ever have that conversation?
Yeah, I wouldn't mention specific brand name here, but there are concerns about going too aggressively in the US market. Why? Because they simply put, they don't want to lose huge money
Mhm.
because they can't guarantee the success. I mean, nobody can guarantee anything, but they are not quite sure based on their sales or revenues on their e-commerce store, which means they're not making a lot of money from their e-commerce store, which is like their brand store. So they want to see if the e-commerce store goes well, then they want to go Amazon store as well. But I think it should be the opposite. You go to Amazon first, or it can be happening simultaneously. So you can build your brand store. In the meantime, you can also invest a little money and then start doing the Amazon selling at the same time and see the market reaction. That was actually the vegan related products. And I think that is also partially because they are targeting a very niche market. So they're thinking like, oh, I don't think there is not going to be huge demands for this at the moment. We'll wait. So they're waiting until now. So it's been actually like 2 years. So I
Yeah.
don't know when they're gonna start. I think starting is
It's a
very
long
important.
time. 2 years is a long time to wait to start selling on Amazon because they could have built up some sales rank by now. They could have put a certain number of orders under their belts just to kind of clear away any initial flaws or problems with their operation.
Yeah.
And then started to realize a real profit at about 2 years, right?
Yeah. One thing that I want to add to this. So they end up focus more on Korea market, but they have English page, right? On the website and everything. I see the opportunities there. I see the opportunities. So this is like my responsibility and my job to convince them to give it a try on Amazon.
So you've studied here, you're aware of shopping habit and how businesses typically sell to customers here. Will you also have the experience with Koreans selling to Koreans? I'm just curious how you take whatever lessons you acquired here in the US back to Korea and help them understand like this is the right way to do it. This is an advantage you have over other local consultants they might hire in Korea when they've got a really successful skincare brand, but not necessarily somebody with as much US experience as you have.
Right. So for me, I really enjoy helping the brands to grow in different marketplaces. So apart from the US, I am also working with the Spanish agency in Spain. They're helping European brands. So in that case, they want to target Korea market with the Spanish fashion clothes. They want to sell those clothes to Korea, but they need a solution in between. So I really like bridging two different cultures or even three different cultures. As I studied in Taiwan and I lived in Canada, Australia, and the US, I feel like all different cultures, and of course, people living in one country doesn't mean that they have just one trade. Their backgrounds are different, their shopping behaviors are different. So me, I always learn something by helping the brands, if that makes sense. So press release is the most like popular services that the Korean company is using from their creative solutions. Why? Because they want to write about their company, they want to write about their products, but that is targeting the global market, right? Not only the US, but to like Europe. They don't know how to approach. So I think that is the part that I feel like I help the most, the Korean brands. So I can start with something that they didn't know before having the conversation with me, but then they will come up with some more creative solutions or strategies after that. So I really like giving them more ideas, creative approaches, not only just telling them what to do, just giving them more ideas so that the brand can grow. They can maybe think about targeting Taiwan or China. What about like Spain, Germany? Why not? But they're very cautious about it because they don't know how to start. They don't know how to approach the markets.
I was curious about that. How much selling into Europe are most of these brands you're working with doing, or are they mostly focused on the US?
Mostly in the US.
Just because of like language barriers, or just US is an easier market and it's a bigger market?
Bigger market. And I think most of the Korean brands want to target the US market and then go for the European countries if they are
Gotcha.
successful in the US market, because it's
Right.
just only that the US market is more familiar to us.
All right, Savannah of Digital Creative Solutions, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sure we will talk again. I'm planning on going back to the Seller Kingdom conference, which is later this year.
Awesome. Yes, can't wait. Looking forward to it.
I'll catch up with you again soon. Thanks again.
Thank you.